The following is a presentation of iRacing.com motorsports simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Oxford Plains Speedway here for the running of the Upstate Racing League Lays Enterprise MP Roy Incorporated Pro Late Model Series live from Oxford Plains Speedway right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. My name is Cisco Scaramuzza. Alongside me tonight is going to be Chris Murdoch, and Chris, we got to get down to action here. Time running short on us, so we're going to jump in right away and start out with your starting grid.
Yes, starting on the pole this evening with the 15.383, you've got the 24 of Brandon Odo on his outside, Paul Fugate.
Yeah, starting right behind them in that third position is going to be AJ Hamill in the 18. CJ Levere is going to start fourth. Fifth is going to go to the 71 of Nicholas Rasmussen.
Yes, sixth, Brian Rogers Jr., Stefan Marinak in that 25 machine. Seventh, James McIntyre Jr., eighth. Ninth, Mike Holtzclaw. 10, rounding out your top 10, Jay Dubuque.
11th's going to go to Dan Dubuque. 12th to Mike Fortier. 13th will go to Alex Oriens. 14th to Justin McDuff. And 15th is Al Smith Jr.
16th will be that 99 machine of Eric Hagg, Jason Stinney. 17th, 18th, Eric Spencer, the 5 of Sean Cool, 19th, and rounding out your top 20 and the last car to take time, Cale Frenier with that 15.785.
Justin Fuller to start 21st, 22nd to go to AJ Bunch, and JD Callahan is going to round out your 23 car field. Well, I had a whole opening written out for us tonight here, Chris. Not going to get a chance, but before we do, we can go over this track just a little bit. Oxford Plains Speedway, I was going to mention, this is one of the quirkiest tracks that we're going to go to on the schedule. What makes this track just so interesting?
It's just a constant turn. You're always turning here at this track, and the lack of outside barriers. If you go off, if you get pushed, you're just going off in the grass. There's nothing to save you here at this track, so it should be interesting, Cisco.
Yeah, absolutely, and the pace car makes its one of two pace laps here. Brandon Odo on the pole. He got the win last week in the All-Star race, if you were following us for that race. Once again, out here in front of the field, that's where he wants to stay tonight, but it's Oxford Plains. Anything can happen. The iRacing.com rough 12R pace car is going to get set to make its way to the inside here. A little bit different of a pit road than what we're normal. Very sharp pit road, but he's going to make that left turn. Brandon Odo going to be in control of the field here. Paul Fugate on his outside. First start in the series. Green flag in the air. We're underway here from Oxford, Maine, and into turn number 1 already. Brandon Odo jumps to the inside here, leads the field as they come out of 2.
Yeah, that 44 of Paul Fugate gets stuck on the outside, which is definitely what you don't want to do here at Oxford. It's just so hard to get back down, especially with the constant turn. There's almost no open space, and you just see him falling hard back. That moves the 18 of AJ Hamill and a whole host of cars by him, and AJ's on the back bumper of Brandon Odo.
Yeah, on the back bumper already, but lap 2 already complete as we head back down to turn 1. And right on the back bumper of that 24 Brandon Odo is AJ Hamill, who had somewhat of an interesting couple all-star race. He was in the tie for the top 4, is where you have a caution already underway. Big wreck involving the 51 of Justin Fuller, the 5 of Sean Cool. We're going to get a replay on that as soon as we can here, but big incident involving those two cars, and we're already under our first caution.
Yeah, and cautions are something that I'm going to expect to see a whole lot of here, as you're going to see this replay coming up on your screen. Heavy damage to the back end of Sean Cool, but as I was mentioning, cautions are going to be a huge factor here with all the short racing, the tight racing. You hardly get any room for error, and that's what we're seeing here. As there's, scuffle on the back, 51 of Justin Fuller brake checking hard that 5 car of Sean Cool, not really enjoying anything of what's going on there.
And if you're Justin Fuller, you've come into this series, you've basically dominated a lot of the races. you're going to be a little upset if you get taken out towards the back of the field. Justin Fuller showing that range of motion here tonight. Not very happy with the 5 of Sean Cool. But meanwhile, we're going to jump back to the front of the pack. And now we get a chance. We can actually talk about this racetrack a little bit. As you alluded to in our brief aside there at the beginning of this race, Oxford Plains has no outside barrier. We're going to hop on board here for the 24 just so we can get an idea of what these drivers are going to be experiencing at the wheel. Always a constant gradient unless you're going through either the 1 or 2 front or back stretches here. And it's always turning, like you said, Chris. No outside barrier. It's always turning. 2 very different variables than what these guys are used to. We've had a lot of, traditional short tracks here. Not a lot of always turning action like what you'd see at Chicagoland or here at Oxford Plains.
Yeah, definitely Oxford, one of those wild card races here on this schedule, but that is what separates the men from the boys, Cisco. Who can get around this track, who can get it in victory lane, and who will come out on top as we take the 1 to green.
1 to green here, top 10 as they run. Odo, Hamill, Rasmussen, Marinac, Rogers, CJ LeVere, Paul Fugate, Mike Holtzclaw, Justin McIntyre, and Dan Dubuque round out your top 10. Pace car in already, green flag back in the air. We're already back underway here. These guys are going to be flying by. Pace laps take only half a minute here. You can imagine how fast the race laps are. Out of turn 2 right here, side by side for second. Right now we're going to jump on board with the 25 of Stefan Marinac. We're going to look out the top from his Chevrolet Monte Carlo side by side with him as they head back down to turn 1. Side by side back with us, Nicholas Rasmussen trying to dive the inside. Now Brian Rogers Jr. going to do the same to the 18 of Hamill.
Yeah, it just shows how much of a disadvantage that outside line is here, Cisco. You see AJ Hamill, who started in that second place position, just dropping all the way back. That's going to allow Brian Rogers Jr. to make his way coming out of this corner as another caution drops here at Oxford.
Another caution, and this one's going to involve the 65. That's Jay Dubuque there, one of the 2 brothers. Here, we're going to get a replay on your screen as quick as we can here to see what happened. And as we fill time here for a minute, and looks like it was actually going to get taken a little bit 3 wide there. The 0-2 right there, right behind him. That's the 0-2, Mike Fortier. He's going to jump to the inside there, and this just, I don't know if they just ran out of room, Chris, or what happened. No, the 65, I wonder if he thought he was clear and maybe tried to jump down. That's what it looked like from my vantage point there, Chris.
Well, I think it's just a thing of 2 drivers getting in the corner at, different times, turning different than each other. You see the 65 turning for the corner, but the 0-2 just hasn't got there yet, and he's just going to drive straight into that left corner panel and send him straight down the track. So it's just a little bit of miscommunication that you're going to see here at Oxford, especially with not a lot of reaction time. If something happens right in front of you, you got to react like a split second. You have a split second decision like most racetracks, but it's just adding a level of difficulty here tonight.
Yeah, this race, of course, is going to be very interesting just due to the fact of how short it's going to be. Also, we do want to take note, no tires on par for these guys, so no jacks not going to be able to service these cars tonight here at Murdoch. And basically what it's going to mean is these guys are going to have to save those tires. And if you have a beat-up race car and you take it into the pits, no one else is going to come with you for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, especially with how quick these pace laps here, if you get behind in any, stretch of the imagination, the first caution we came out, Sean Cool, he's 6 laps down, and that, was just at the start of the race. You just get any damage whatsoever here at this track, and your race is pretty much over. That's how fast things can happen here at Oxford.
Absolutely, and Sean Cool trying to figure out the curbs here. And the curbs are just another challenge of this track. You see them on the inside there, kind of guarding that apron. That's basically the don't hit zone. You don't have a white line, you have a curb there. And that does bring a challenge for these guys because it's really hard to see the nose of these pro late model Chevrolet Camaros, Corvettes, and etc. I mean, we look on board from the driver's perspective. You can't see the nose there, Chris, so you have to sort of guess and hope you don't get the curb on accident.
Yeah, definitely. That can add a whole mess of problems, especially if you're up towards the front as we're taking the 1 to green this time by Cisco. Getting on those curbs, definitely not where you want to be, just like most tracks that you'll see on this schedule.
Very short race here tonight. Not going to have a lot of time under caution, but as the car heads to the pit road, green flag back in the air already at back under green here. Oxford Plains, they clean this place up really quick, get these guys around pace laps, and already doing a great job as Rasmussen looks to try and go single file here. Looks like our top 3 is going to go single file, but Rasmussen running a little bit of a higher line here. Not sure if he's trying to get, I don't know, like Mark on the corner or whatever the case is. But the 12 nearly got to his inside. Side by side right behind him, though, the 18 of AJ Hamill is stuck on that outside, and CJ LeVere in that 2 car kind of following. We're going to jump on board with him here for a moment. He's going to jump inside the 18 there of Hamill, and Hamill's still stuck on that outside, not really making it work, Murdoch, as they head back through 2.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick nod to Nicholas Rasmussen. What power he had to show that he was not going to follow suit or follow the trend here tonight and get shuffled to the back like we're seeing AJ Hamill get right now. He was able to power on the outside, make it work for a little bit, but you can't afford to stay up there for too long. The tires just won't have it, Cisco, and without having any tires, you have to save up everything you can. You know, Oxford isn't that long of a race, but tires make a huge difference here, especially with the constant turns. So Nicholas Rasmussen proving that he's got what it takes to maybe make the move on the outside, and he showed that real early here.
And right behind him is the 25 of Marinac, and I can see that car already starting to get a little bit squirrely. He's a little bit back off the bumper, the 12 here, but Marinac was coming off a great run in the All-Star race, but remember, he got taken out in the first segment of that, so he had to race his way back up, wasn't able to get enough points in time, so he, of course, is out here to show that he wanted to win that All-Star race, just, well, you know, one thing led to another, and the way the points strung out, it just didn't work out for him. But Brandon Odo, who won the All-Star race and is coming off what has basically been a resurgence for that 24 car, he's really picked it up. I mean, look, he won at South Boston, he won the All-Star race, and the race did a great job as caution back out.
Yeah, and that was the longest we've made under it here, under the green flag here tonight, Cisco. I thought these drivers had finally figured it out, but right before I say something, the caution comes in to just spoil the party. Everybody was running quite well and trying to figure out what the caution was for.
Of Eric Hag,
yeah,
perhaps?
Eric Hag front end damage, heavy front end damage. Looks like that's what it was, but who did he make contact with?
Well, we're going to have to take a look on the replay here. Oh, it looks like he had a little expedition in the other peril of this track, and that, of course, is the dirt mounds you see on the lamps here. We're going to go on board with the 99 to see what happened. I honestly not sure. Oh, he got himself on the curb. We just talked about that, and that's what the curb could do. And onto the dirt mound we go.
A little bit of a hill climb.
That would never be a problem anywhere else we go, Chris, but that's Oxford for you.
Hey, it is its own special wild card here, Cisco. Going for a little bit of a hill climb on these lamp poles is definitely not how you want to spend your day here at Oxford. You'd much rather like to have the day that Brandon Odo's having, just cruising around up at the front, not really having to worry about much with these cautions right now.
Oxford is a very easy track to drive if you're leading the race, Chris, or you have no one in front of you. Because that way, all you have to do is focus on where your line is, where you're putting the car, and make sure you don't just do what Eric Hag did. But you saw what happened. He was in traffic, worried about trying to get to the bottom line, trying to get to the inside of the car in front of him, and just overcompensate a little bit, and that's what can happen. So Oxford, it's just such a quirky track. We're not used to seeing tracks like this. Obviously, we're going to see a few more, something like some of these dirt tracks that are going to be coming to the iRacing service here in the not too distant future. So these guys, you know, it's about the closest we're going to get to a dirt track. Of course, you know that firsthand as a part of Denso Racing. You were a part of that dirt race, which you can see archived right here on LSRTV. One of our most popular videos of last year, and arguably that we've done ever, and just an amazing event here. But that kind of shows just kind of the dirt track nature we see at Oxford.
Yeah, definitely one of the more fun things that I've had the pleasure of being a part of, especially being here with you guys. It was so much fun. A lot of hard work getting that dirt spread out on the track, but really fun as we see the pace car pull off and Brandon Odo punches it once again as we're back under green here at Oxford for, you know, I think it's the
through 2 right now. Odo's going to get single file with Rasmussen there. Rasmussen, I got to think he's going to want to jump to the inside there before he gets caught out, and he almost did by Brian Rogers Jr. there in the 12 car, and Marinac going to go to the high side. And as they head back through the corner once again, Marinac is just kind of stuck up there. He can't do anything, as is once again AJ Hamill. It seems like the same guys keep getting shuffled out. We saw how that affected Paul Fugate. We look in that 44 car, the Lions Club International car. He's back to 6 as they get really squirrely. Marinac way out of the groove there. And that's going to force the 22 back of Mike Holtzclaw. And Fugate going to get Marinac. He's going to get Hamill there. A bunch of cars for that 44.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate series of events there for all those drivers on the high line. It sets them back so far, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, this is going to be a pretty quick race. The move that Brian Rogers Jr. tried to make on Nicholas Rasmussen is going to be something you're going to see here in the very near future. You got to start making your moves because you really don't have that much time. It's really not that long of a racetrack, and you only get a few seconds to actually straighten the car out and line yourself up. So you're going to see a lot of those moves here coming up in the near future, Cisco.
And we see the 71 of Rasmussen trying to do everything he can with the 24, but the problem is he just can't go anywhere. I mean, he's kind of stuck behind the 24 right there. We're going to jump on board with the 71. He gets a little bit of the curb there. You can see how hard he's trying to get to the back bumper. He got it to him there, but that was the middle of the corner on the straightaway. Just Odo opens up the gap just enough so Rasmussen can't stick a nose in there. You got to think he's probably going to have to use the bumper to get by that 24.
Yeah, definitely, and it's all about an if, or well, not really an if, but a when it happens. When is he going to make that move? We've already seen a few bumpers, make contact here, and it's not something uncommon. Like I just said, it's all part of the game. It's all part of the Oxford. But if you get bumped real too hard, it could send you way up out of the groove, and even possibly out of the track here. As you see him going around, there is no wall to stop you from going outside of the track, besides it's going to be interesting to see if there is anybody that ends up in that grass by the time the race is over tonight.
And lap traffic going to be a factor here tonight. It looks like as Cale Frenier is way off the pace here. The leaders are catching him as 71 tried to take a nose to the 24 there, but we see the 4. He's got plenty. These guys are going to catch him before too long, and Odo better hope the 4 gets out of the way, but it's not actually going to matter as the caution back out here. The 22 of Holtzclaw was stuck on the outside. He's around. You got to think he had a little bit of help.
Yeah, definitely. It almost comes, it's almost necessary to have help to go around here. You're constantly just turning the wheel left. It's really not that hard of a track to get the grasp of, but it's such a tight track. You're definitely gonna have help going around here.
Ooh, so what happened there, Chris? You mentioned it's hard to spin yourself out here, and what happened was, I think the 22 aimed for the curb in turn 3 from what I saw on that one. He aimed for the curb on turn 3, realized that he was going to hit the curb, backed out of it, and before he could do that, he couldn't rebalance the car out and just spun the car out there. So that's one of the things that can happen. He went up to the outside to try and save and just overcorrected.
Well, I stand corrected. So, I guess it's not that hard to do here, from my past experiences. It's just really just holding the wheel left, but we're still early enough in this race. I guess we haven't been going for too long. People still trying to figure this track out, so it's going to be interesting to see how things shape up. A big sigh of relief for that 24 machine, Brandon Odo. He doesn't have to go through the lap traffic just yet, but it was awfully close that time by, and I'm going to say before this race is over, he's going to be up there in the thick of it.
Lucky Dog Award is going to go to Sean Cool. That's brought to you by CKF Construction. We're still single file here under caution here, so that'll give us a moment to give a shout out to our title sponsor here tonight, Hanson Starter Shop. You can call them up at 518-493-5103. They can help you out with starters, alternators, everything you need to get your motors back running. Still waiting here under caution, and Brandon Odo has just run a clinic here tonight. He's been doing a great job. He's leading the race, and he's coming off his momentum streak that I talked about a little while ago. And Brandon Odo, it's going to be hard for anyone to do anything with him here tonight. We've seen the 71. He tried. He just couldn't get to the back bumper. It's probably going to be tire management that does him in, if anything.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of those drivers that punches it on the gas here hard, and that's definitely not good for the tires no matter where you're at. So it might be it's definitely his race to lose at this point. It's just so hard to pass here, and with the number of cautions we've had so far, it's going to be hard for anybody to even get anywhere close to passing him. So the only thing I see messing Brandon Odo up here is tire wear. But one driver who's really good at tire wear is that driver on his outside, Nicholas Rasmussen. As the pace car comes in, green flag in the air, Odo steps on it once again as we go off, and now Brian Rogers Jr. on the inside of Nicholas Rasmussen.
Yeah, side by side, they go for second right now. Junior stayed with the 71 of Rasmussen there. He's going to put a nose to him, and if Rasmussen gets stuck on that outside, he's going to be doomed. But Ryan Rogers Jr. on that inside doing a great job. We saw on the top 10 right before we went back to green, Justin Fuller is not that far away. You can see him back there. He's in that orange and blue car and white, kind of right behind A.J. Hamill there. And Justin Fuller, you got to know, is not very happy after that first caution. He's going to do everything he can. We know he'll do everything he can to make his way to the front.
Yeah, definitely another driver who is kind of a Mr. Where did he come from? Paul Fugate, who started on the outside row. He's made his way up to 4th after being shuffled all the way back to the field as another caution comes out here, Cisco.
And the cautions just won't end. This time, it's for the 73 of Eric Spencer, and that car has taken a lot of punishment here tonight already. Let's see if we can get a replay and figure out what happened to the 73 as...
It was a pretty decent sized wreck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that looked like a pretty big wreck. His car looks absolutely fine right now. Looks like he goes to the outside right there. Is he going to get a little? Yes, he is, from Justin McDuff. Thank you very much. And whammo, wow, that just, everyone ran out of space there trying to avoid the 99. And the 61, it looked like, had a little bit of a get-together there. And the 19 gave a hard hit to that 73 Spencer.
Yeah, definitely the big one here. Quite a few cars that, were just trying to make it through the race involved in that big one, and it's really unfortunate, but that just shows how close the racing here is at Oxford and how things can change in just a split second.
We're already approaching the halfway point. We're getting there. 50 laps down, 75 still to go. So it's going to be, these guys are starting to realize they're starting to run out of time. They're just going to have to get with it. I mean, we've seen Justin Fuller. He's done a great job. He's already back running up in the top 10 right now. He's shown as running 8th right now. So he's going to start on the outside. Going to be a tough break for the 51, but Justin Fuller's probably going to find a way past whoever's on his inside, either letting him go and dropping behind and moving him, or trying to race him and force him down the curb or something like that. But Justin Fuller, he's not a very passive driver from what we've seen, Chris.
Yeah, definitely not. That's not a driver you want to make angry or even get on your bad side. It can come back to bite you real quick here, as we're getting ready to take the green flag here once again. Just very interesting to Justin Fuller. He's just an interesting character. He's really nice if you get to talk to him, but you make him mad, and he's just a different human being.
Absolutely. We saw what happened after that first wreck. A little bit of payback to the 5 of Sean Cole under caution. He said he wasn't happy with it, and he wasn't lying. Top 10 as they run, as they head back towards the green, is going to be the 24, the 71, the 12, Fugate, LeVere, Hamill, Marinac, Fuller, Stenny, and Al Smith Jr. That's your top 10. It's a rough 12-hour pace car going to head the pits once again. Brandon Odo on the loud pedal, green flag back in the air. Ryan Rogers Jr. got a terrible start there. He's going to lose one spot to Rasmussen, and Fugate nearly got him, but he was able to get to the bottom right as they went in the corner.
Yeah, something we don't see here often, Cisco. Brian Rogers Jr. clipping that curb out of the corner. He was trying to get the most out of the restart he could, put those left sides on the curb, and it just got that car all out of shape and lost him a ton of time. So that's going to move. He's still going to be sitting in the 3rd position, but it lost him all of his momentum or any shot it making a move on Nicholas Rasmussen there on the start.
Yeah, back down to turn 1 once again. Fugate still stuck on that outside once again. He got forced back up there as he had to restart up there, and it's already taken a toll on that 44 Lions Club machine. He's fallen back. He's fallen into the clutch of A.J. Hamill now, who's right behind him, but 6th. He's probably going to fall back and lose 7th here in a moment, and Fuller on the inside there is just going to continue the freight train that's happening on the bottom. How about C.J. LeVere, who's been up here kind of all night? He's gotten back to his 4th place spot. He's just been kind of content to run in that 4th place spot all night. He's been up here all night. He's just been running.
Yeah, definitely. He's been able to keep his car clean, keep everybody happy with him, and that's just what you want. A nice, top 4 race, top 5 race going for you. He hasn't really made too many big moves. Maybe he's saving his stuff. There's still quite a bit of racing going on here, Cisco, and anything can happen, especially at this track here in Oxford. So, he's just playing his cards right in my line.
Paul Fugate still stuck on the outside. AJ Hamill was able to get to the inside of that car, and that could mean something interesting here for the rest of this race. The 44 is really your only car through the top 15 or so that's stuck on the outside. We see Dan Dubuque in that 61 also stuck out there. But for the most part, everyone on the inside line here. Now Fugate actually going to drop in behind the 96 of Al Smith Jr. Everyone single file. That's going to make your caution, or the ability to go out and have a caution, a lot tougher now because everyone's just following each other. Of course, you have an accordion effect or a slinky effect, and something might happen. For the most part, everyone's
Yeah, definitely, which is, very common here at Oxford. You don't have, the tires, especially this late in the race. You don't have the tires to, make those outside moves. And you saw Nicholas Rasmussen do it towards the beginning of the race, but he's been tucked up right behind that back bumper of Brandon Odo since the past 2 restarts. So you don't see a lot of that, and it's all about tire conservation. So you'll see it start to kick up here in a little bit, Cisco. But right now everybody's just trying to save their stuff, make sure they have everything they can for this final little stint here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we head out of turn 2 right there, and Rasmussen and Odo have broken away just a little bit in front of the 12, and that tells me that the 12 might be holding up the rest of this field just a little bit. We saw him not a great restart right there, and he's just not been able to close that gap to our 2 leaders right now. Rogers in that Mountain Dew machine. You got CJ LeVere right behind him. 2 teammates, Lib Fuller on his charge all the way back to the front. Run 6 still. And Brian Rogers Jr., it looks like he's just holding up this field because that gap continues to grow ever so slightly between the 71 and the 24. The 71's starting to lose that 24 now, but this could be the point everyone was looking for in the long green flag run. And it looks like everything's going to be fine so far, as once again they head through 2 right now. And Rogers, it looks like to me everyone's starting to stack up behind him. It's gonna get dicey here pretty soon.
Well, I know it all too well. The late race restart that can just ruin the entire race. You saw him get on the curb there, and it just sent him sideways, slid the tires, lost a whole bunch of wear. He's not feeling it. The car's leaving him, and it's allowing CJ LeVere to just pick his brain for a little bit, maybe try to make a move on the inside. Not gonna do it. Brian Rogers shuts the door as he squeaks the tires, smoke coming off the back to try to shut that door. So definitely holding up the field now, but this is definitely what Brandon Odo and Nicholas Rasmussen and probably a whole lot of other drivers want to see, is this green flag run. That way they can actually get their stuff up to par. As you see Justin Fuller now on the back of Stefan Marinak and trying to make a move, given the bumper a little bit, not going to be able to get there this time, but Justin Fuller on his way back up to the front.
Yeah, Justin Fuller has been we said he was involved in that first caution. He's driven his way back up here. You can see the damage. So the 51 by no means away from having a little bit of battle damage, but you can see this kind of stacking up effect, and it looks like the 24 just up ahead of him is starting to run a little bit higher, as Fuller said, all right, I've had enough of you, Marinak, and just sent him for a ride, and Marinak going to go off the track there, and that's not a caution, that's not on the track, and Marinak just went from hero to 0 right there. Marinak off the track. He's not going to get a caution, back underway, but that's what can happen. iRacing, they throw cautions based on if you're blocking the track in front of a field, and he wasn't, so they didn't.
Yeah, that's just one of those interesting little tidbits here. I knew before the race was over that we would see somebody up in that grass, and it just had to be the unlucky 25 machine of Stefan Marinak. He went for a ride, had to get it all turned back around, and he's at the tail end of this field, which means he's really close to going a lap down, which, maybe it may spill a little bit of payback there for Justin Fuller. Who knows? We're gonna have to sit here and wait it out, but it's really gonna be interesting how this unfolds now.
Yeah, and Stefan Marinak has now basically been victim 2 weeks in a row. He got taken out in the All-Star race in the first segment. He got taken out in this race. Marinak's not going to be terribly happy, but you can see how strong the car is. He's kind of gained a little bit of a gap on the 24 of Odo there. He's already basically caught the 65 of Jay Dubuque, who's a couple laps down in his car. And that 65 Cowboys machine looks pretty battle damaged. The 25, though, not that bad. I mean, he got a little bit of a tap on the bumper, and that's it. So for the most part, once he gets the dirt rubbed off, those tires are going to be absolutely fine. And will it probably hurt him in the long run? Yeah, but we're past halfway at this point, so I don't think it's going to hurt him that much.
Yeah, definitely. And Nicholas Rasmussen, we're going to jump up here to the top 1 and 2, just staying kind of even with Brandon Odo right now. I don't know whether he's trying to save a few, save the tires for like this last run or what, but just staying a little bit even. Then you got Brian Rogers Jr., who is slowly creeping into the picture. I don't know whether he's going to be able to get back up there when he's lost as much time as he did on that restart, but it's just something to make note of, is that this green flag run has really proved well for Brandon Odo. We've seen him dominate the starts, and we didn't really know how he was going to do here in these long runs, but he seems to be dominant here at Oxford here tonight.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And as we come to complete lap 78 here, just an amazing job that these two have been able to do. Pull out a little bit of a gap, and you can see Brian Rogers, once again, he's sort of holding up the rest of the field. I mean, CJ LeVere is driving every which way to get past that Mountain Dew Chevrolet. And LeVere, we know, is no stranger to doing whatever he can to get a spot here. And LeVere still on the back bumper. He's just waiting at this point. The problem for LeVere, though, he's got a very, we already know, impatient 51 right behind him. The 51, I think if he gets held up too much longer, the 2's probably going to get sent in. LeVere going to use the bumper there, says, all right, I've had enough of this. And he moves the 12 out of the way. That's what you got to do. Maybe not to the extent of what Fuller did, but he moved him.
Yeah, definitely. Just the little bumps get the job done, and it still keeps Brian Rogers Jr. up there in contention as he gets right up on the door, going to power off of 4. They're going to be right side by side with him going into, 1 and 2. So maybe have something as he gets together with CJ LeVere, and that's going to allow Justin Fuller. Justin Fuller's not going to let up for Brian Rogers Jr. He's going to force that whole one way or another and get by him. Close racing coming off of 4, and Brian Rogers Jr. heading to the back.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to get lucky. The 43 Stenny there hit the curb, and that's going to allow him, he lost a little bit of speed. That's going to allow Rogers to stop the bleeding, at least for a moment there. But we kind of saw that coming for a little while there. We saw the 2 was faster. We saw the 51 was probably going to be faster, and we saw what the 51 was going to do to anyone who was slower in front of him. So not really terribly surprised to see the bumper once again, but we're getting to that point. We're getting to the point now where under 50 laps to go here. Time running out fairly quickly for these guys. Once we get down here, we're going to have 40 laps to go once they cross the line, and that means basically you got 10 minutes left in this race, more or less. You got to go.
Yeah, definitely. It's crunch time now. It may not seem like it, but this track is so very small, and you're in the window now to where you make it or break it, and that's what we're seeing now is, CJ LeVere is kind of checked out from that 51 machine of Justin Fuller. Justin Fuller may have used up all of his stuff trying to get through the rest of the field, as now we move up here to your leaders who are just now getting lap traffic, which is going to be interesting here. Which one of the 2 can get through lap traffic better, and is lap traffic going to be nice to one driver and give the other driver a tough time? It's going to be interesting to see how these guys maneuver lap traffic, and if that's going to pull them any farther back to the few drivers behind them.
This is the point where Nicholas Rasmussen, if he was saving those tires, he's going to be better off for it. This is what he's going to be better at, and I think he's just waiting. He was waiting because he knew we were going to get a green flag run here, and I think he was waiting for the opportunity. Once we get lap cars, then Odo has to worry about how he's going to get past the lap cars. Are they just going to get out of the way, or if they're racing for position? And that moment where he has to think about where he's going to put that car, that's all Rasmussen needs. You need a split second maybe at this track, and you can tell someone, hey, I'm passing you right now. And it looks like one car got sent off into the dirt. That's the 31 Alex Oriens. Far back in the field, back up front, meanwhile, the 2 of CJ LeVere, he is basically catching these guys. So the Flash is flying right now, and he wants to catch these guys in a couple laps here and maybe avenge his teammate for what happened earlier.
Yeah, definitely. CJ LeVere, one of those drivers who I called in the beginning. He, kept his car clean, kept his nose clean for the entirety of this race, just riding around, and it's paying off for him. He's digging through this track right now, and as you see Nicholas Rasmussen have a little bit of trouble with that O2 machine whose lap traffic, he got a little bit squirrely on the inside of him, and that's going to allow CJ LeVere to catch up a little bit more. So what once was a 2-car battle has now turned into sort of a 3-car battle here, Cisco.
Yeah, absolutely. And CJ LeVere a little bit further back, but he has the opportunity to map out his move just a little bit more than the 71 and the 24. The 24 basically just has to go, because if he tries to figure out, oh, maybe I'm going to take this guy on the inside or outside, you're waiting too long. You just got to throw the car down there, maybe hop over voice chat or something and say, hey, lap car's the outside or something like that, just to get them out of your way, or you use the bumper to move them, because if you start thinking about trying to move the car, you know, up to the above the track to get past the car or something like that, you're going to get sent. That's just how this race is going to work, especially if you have a car right on your back bumper like he does. And for Brandon Odo right now, you just got to hope that lap traffic is kind. It looks like one car to the outside already. That's that 5 of Sean Cool's involved in your first caution. Wonder what's going to happen when he gets back to the 51. But either way, not going to happen right now. 30 laps to go, 29 in the line.
More lap traffic. Nicholas Rasmussen on the back bumper of Brandon Odo really hasn't changed much. And you know, now that we look at it, CJ Rivera kind of stalling out here too. So it's really looking good for Brandon Odo if he can just get through these few lapped cars that are sitting here in front of him without any trouble. It's looking real good, but now they're too wide in front of him, so it's going to be, you know, stacking them up a little bit. There's not that very much room on this track, not really room for 3 wide, so these guys up in front of him need to, you know, figure it out soon, because they got lead lap cars coming up on them real fast.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like these two aren't going to sort it out in front of Odo. That's the 5 of Cool and 2 is inside, I believe. We're going to double check. Oh, the 73, Eric Spencer and Cool. I don't know what happened there. I think he just decided, I'm going to let the leaders by now. So he did so, kind of lost that spot to the 73, Eric Spencer. Maybe he's hoping to get Spencer once the lap cars get passed up by the leaders. Not a bad strategy for him as he jumped to the inside there. If he can stay with them, he'll be able to stay on the inside of Spencer here, hopefully. But Odo, this is the train. Everyone's going to get stacked up right here. You see the 71 already on the back bumper. The 2 is closed up ever so slightly. And the 24 are going to get held up by the 4 of Cale Frenier there. Nowhere to go. Eric Hag in front and Cale Frenier right behind him there. Frenier finally going to yield that bottom line to the 24 of Odo. He's going to let him go as well. Everyone being very polite if they're lap traffic right now. And Odo is doing as best as he can to get past these cars. The good news is he might get Mike's Holtzclaw, and I don't know how many more cars he'll get, but it gets pretty spaced out in front of the 22, already the inside of the 99 of Eric Hag. So Odo, but the 71's still there.
Yeah, and I think another thing that, you know, works to the advantage of, you know, Brandon Odo is there's only really 2 lanes on this track. It's not really that wide of a track, so it doesn't really leave that much passing room for Rasmussen or anything. So if he can just like keep in this lap traffic, it's going to force these drivers to stay single file, and you're going to see Rasmussen just ride behind Brandon Odo here trying to get past the 99 of Eric Hag. The only bad part about it is now it's closed that 2 of CJ Rivera up, so if anything were to happen, that just adds another car to the mix. So definitely really going well here for Brandon Odo and CJ Rivera. Not really sure how it's going for Nicholas Rasmussen at the time. He's kind of stuck in this sandwich, but it should pay off here if everything goes according to plan.
It should pay off, and think about this. Nicholas Rasmussen's probably going to, as it sits right now, Nicholas Rasmussen finishes second again. I mean, talk about consistency. This guy has it, and he's done a great job here, and we could just look at the mess that's right behind the leaders here. You look all the way back, and Justin Fuller is all the way back to 10th. So something happened to that 51. I'm not sure what happened. We had the cameras on the leaders there, so we might have to take a look after the race here. But either way, Justin Fuller went from 4th to 10th. So he either got helped, or I don't know if it was payback from the 5 or whatever happened. But either way, Justin Fuller, who I thought might become a late race kind of factor in this, he's gone. And you look all the way back, Brian Rogers Jr. is once again 5th. So, and he's fourth rather, and he's way far back of these guys. Not going to be able to do anything. This is a 3 becoming 2 horse racing.
Nicholas Rasmussen almost turns the 24 of Brandon Odo, trying to get all he could. That allows the CJ Rivera to get right on the back bumper of Nicholas Rasmussen. That closed everybody up real fast. Nicholas Rasmussen trying to get everything he can. He knows this race is almost over. About 5 laps to go this time by.
15.
Not 5 laps to go. 15 laps to go this time by. So definitely interesting move by the 71 there.
I mean, he had to do it, and we got back to the camera just as he hit him there. But, I mean, it's not that hard to figure out what happened there. Dived in and won, used the bumper. I mean, everyone's done it here a couple times, and Rasmussen now has to work his way back there. You got to think, he only got him once. He's probably going to get him here again.
Yeah, definitely, and it's probably going to be a move we're going to see once again. That's not a move that you just hit one and then you're done. You got to keep on hammering at it until you get it, and that's what Nicholas Rasmussen is willing to do to get the win here at Oxford. You're going to see him try to track down Brandon Otto, and he's almost there, but he's got to be careful now because that move on the 24 Brandon Otto has really closed up CJ Oliveira. So if he messes up this move in even the slightest and takes out Brandon Otto and himself, that just puts this win right on a silver platter for CJ Oliveira.
We're heading for a great finish here at the Oxford Plains. Oliveira, I think he's overdriving the corner just a little bit, or he's lost a little bit of grip because he keeps going for the inside there and keeps tightening up on the racetrack there. So CJ Oliveira in a good position right now, but honestly, I think he should just wait to see if the 71 catches him, and if the 71 isn't going to do anything, then maybe deal with the 71. But for right now, I'd say wait for Nicholas Rasmussen to make that move again, then try and take advantage. You know, try and get him when he least expect it. And the 24 is going to apex high again, and he's going to lose speed. So the 71, he's there. He just has to do something with him. 8 laps to go at the line.
Yeah, and there's not that much room for error at this point. You're not going to get another shot at this if you're Nicholas Rasmussen. You got to make sure the move that you're going to make is the move you're willing to live with, because it's going to be the only move you're going to get. You're not going to get another one because he's just now on the back bumper of Brandon Otto. So I wish I was in that driver's seat of Nicholas Rasmussen just to see what's going through his mind right there. Maybe try to pick his brain just to see what he's going to do here. But it's just a tense, on the edge of your seat moment here, Cisco, to see how these laps
went down. We got the curb. Rasmussen got the curb ever so slightly, trying to charge the corner. Lost a little bit of ground to the 24 that time. But the good news is the 24 keeps apexing out. He gets a great run on the straightaways, in quotations there. But the problem is Rasmussen can get to him in the corner, and Rasmussen's there in the corner. That's where the run's going to happen, and lap traffic going to be a huge factor here. Crail Frenier just lost a ton of time, not sure why, but that's going to stack everyone up here. 5 laps to go, and this is going to be a brawl to the finish as Frenier jumps to the high side.
Yeah, I don't think these elite lap drivers are going to let the lapped cars play any spoiler in this race. They'll use them to their advantage if they have to. Nicholas Rasmussen just now getting right back to the back bumper after we saw him catch the curb there a little bit. So this is it. This is the move. He's got to make it here, and you see him get right up on the back bumper coming off of 2, but not going to be able to make it. He's going to look for it in 3, not going to be able to get it. He gets the curb again.
If he keeps getting that curb, Chris, I don't know if he's going to do it. He got it again there. He's going to apex way out there. Kirk got very loose here. 3 laps to go. 2 at the line. And Rasmussen doing everything he can here to try and take this away from Otto.
Yeah, definitely, and Otto's not going to lay over it. He's not one of those kind of people defending series champion Brandon Otto. He knows what it takes to get this race done, and he's shown it here. He's going to take it, going to be able to take the white flag. He's going into 3 this time, may be able to do the sweep and take it flag to flag, pole to pole here at Oxford, but it's just one more lap to go.
Here we go. Brandon Otto has one more perfect lap. That's all he needs to bring home the checkered flag as they head through turn 2 right now. That's one of the 2 trouble stops. They head down to turn 3. Will Rasmussen use the bumper? He's not going to do it. He's going to keep it nice and clean. Brandon Otto going to go flag to flag here at Oxford Plains Speedway.
Oh, and you see Nicholas Rasmussen get loose off of there, and it really scared the 2 of CJ Oliveira. He goes off the track into the grass and is smoking heavily, so at least the race is over now. It's just the dirt now. It was really nerve-wracking there, but just really wild ride there going into 1 as soon as they crossed the start-finish line. But CJ Oliveira able to keep that 3rd place position and finish 3rd. So the top 3, Brandon Otto, Nicholas Rasmussen, and CJ Oliveira. Crazy finish here tonight.
Absolutely crazy finish, and a great finish there. And Brandon Otto and Nicholas Rasmussen gonna do some burnouts right there, but Brandon Otto drifting around the course over the curb. It doesn't matter now, and nearly hit CJ Oliveira right there. He's looking for a place to do some more burnouts, and he's gonna drift it around the Oxford Plains Speedway. Let's take a look at your final finishing results here before we send a commercial and see if we can get some drivers. Brandon Otto is going to bring home your winner. Is your winner here? He's going to bring home the win here. Nicholas Rasmussen going to finish 2nd. CJ Oliveira 3rd. Jason Stenny 4th. Brian Rogers 5th. AJ Hamill 6th. 7th going to go to Al Smith Jr. 8th to Paul Fugate. And 9th is going to go to Justin Fuller. And Dan Dubuque is going to round out your top 10. 11th's going to go to Stefan Meridak. 12th's going to go to AJ Bunch. 13th to McIntyre. 14th going to go to Mike Holtzclaw. Eric Spencer going to finish 15th. 16th going to go to Mike Fortier. 17th to Eric Hag. 18th to Alex Oriens. 19th to Jay Dubuque. And 20th to Sean Cole.
Yeah, rounding out your field, the 21st position goes to Cal Frenier, JD Callahan 22nd, and Justin McDuff finishing in that 23rd position, 42 laps down. Crazy race here tonight, Cisco, and it's all that I expected it to be, and it lived up to the expectations that I had for tonight.
Absolutely, but we're going to take a moment, step aside here, see if we can get some drivers dialed up for you. You've been watching the Upstate Racing League Pro Late Model Series, sponsored by Lace Enterprises, MP Roy Incorporated. We'll be back in a moment right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Stay with us. The Upstate Racing League on iRacing Live is brought to you by Lace Enterprises MP Roy. Official title sponsor for the series, Lace Enterprises MP Roy Incorporated was formed in 2007 as Canada's only authorized racing electronics dealership and as a trackside parts vendor. They have since expanded their offering. The major products include Coleman Racing Products, Joe's Racing Products, Leaf Racewear, Lounge Care Racing Products, Port City Race Cars, Racing Electronics, Race Seaver, and Swift Springs. For more information regarding Lace Enterprises MP Roy or their products, visit LaceEnterprisesMPRoyIncorporated.com or call 1-877-35-MP-ROY. That's 1-877-356-7769. Well, we're finished here from Oxford Plains Speedway. We're going to catch up with some of your winners here. We're going to first send it down to Victory Lane, where I have caught up with Brandon Odo, our big winner here tonight, Oxford Plains. And Brandon, well, you're back-to-back here. You won the All-Star race last week. You come in tonight with momentum, and you get it done at Oxford Plains. How was the race out there?
Oh, the race was great. I gotta say, thank you to Nick Rasmussen for racing me clean all race long. There's plenty of times where he could have given me the bamper, and I'm glad that he raced me clean like that. And it was just a blast racing with these guys. It was the setup today with the track. I mean, it was just crazy hard to hang on to it. It was like driving dirt track out there. Sometimes you go into the corner and actually have to steer it right just to correct it. So again, it was just crazy crazy, hard to hang on to racing, and definitely a lot of good guys out there to make it happen too.
We called this track the quirkiest of the schedule. Obviously has some characteristics we're not used to seeing here. What was the biggest challenge here tonight for you in the race car?
Definitely the biggest challenge was especially getting behind lap cars, trying not to follow the same line as them, because I knew what I had to do to conserve tires, and it definitely wasn't the lines that they were taking, so I had to kind of talk myself through it and not allow myself to push out too wide in the corners or drive in too hard in the corners. You had to just stick around that bottom curb down there. So that was the biggest thing. Another big thing too was staying away from that curb coming off the corners. To run those lap times we were running, you gotta just every single lap get so close to that curb, and a few times I caught it, and it almost cost me the race. So I'm glad that didn't. But again, yeah, the curb definitely will come out and bite you.
We head to Southern National next week for the final race of the regular season here. Size that track up. We know it's one of the newer tracks on the schedule. It premiered last year. It'll be our second year heading to that track in this series. What do you look to expect from Southern National?
I expect it to be a good race. I know last year we had a little bit of a net code issue in the first 5 or 6 laps out there, and then ended our race right away. So I've never gotten really a chance to duke it out there. I'd really excited to finally go there and be able to race for a win. Hopefully we don't have the same issues as last year. But again, with this momentum from this win, I think we have a good chance to go out there and win.
Well, absolutely. Well, Brandon Odo, the driver offers are apparently already rolling in, so I'll let you get to that. But before I let you go here, sponsors, shout-outs. Who gets it done for you in the 24 team?
Oh, of course, the iRacing Memes Facebook page. If you haven't liked that yet, you can go to facebook.com/IRMEMES. We post a lot of funny stuff once in a while. And I got to thank Pole Position Raceway Buffalo. Also have to thank Auto Rescue Team and Danny Knoll helping me out in real life and in the sim. I got to thank everybody watching. Got to thank Mike Tedonio, Kenny Hayna, Ed Neal, Jerry Hippert, Mike Tedonio again. He's everybody's commenting on here. Everybody at Pole Position Raceway watching. Sam Junkin, Dylan Yorks, all those guys who always watch every week. Everybody who ever tunes in, and thank you to you guys up in the broadcast booth. Hopefully we can put on a good end of the race. Oh, I also have to thank my girlfriend for talking me through that one too.
Well, that's Brandon Odo. We heard you had a spotter tonight a couple times in the live chat, so we want to congratulate your whole team, and we'll see you next week from Southern National.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, well, that's Brandon Odo. He's your winner here from Oxford Plains Speedway. I'm going to send it down to Chris Murdoch, who's caught up with our second-place finisher, the 71 of Nicholas Rasmussen.
Yeah, sitting down here with Nicholas Rasmussen, coming up just a hair short here tonight. You know, what was the race like going through your mind there, Nicholas?
Good fun. It was a blast up there. Had some good battles with Brian Rogers and certainly also Brandon Odo. It's good fun in the early part of the race. Taking the risk. I got around Ham. Restarts hasn't really been my strong suit, so it's good. I'm happy I was able to hang around the outside for the restart somehow, and all in all, it was a good race, very clean, and that's how I like to see the races. There's a lot of respect between the drivers, and that showed. It was good fun, very very difficult. I did everything I could to kind of put pressure on Brandon, and I almost spun him at some point, being a little bit too ambitious and too late on the brakes. But luckily we avoided taking each other out, and we had a blast all the way to the end. And again, a good fair fight, and that's the kind of races I enjoy. So that was a lot of fun.
Now, there are multiple challenges here at a track like Oxford. So, you know, what was the major challenge for you in that 71 machine?
Keeping the tires alive, just making sure that you didn't overcook it at any point. I actually decided that I wasn't, pretty much never gonna stay full throttle, because I wanted to keep some tire life in there for the end, and I felt like that worked, to be honest. I wasn't able to get past Brandon, but I was able to put him under some good pressure, and that might have been something. But he was up there. He was fast, and I couldn't beat him today. He got a good win, and I'm happy for him. He's on having good streaks of wins, and it's good for him. Always have some good races with Brandon, and this race here wasn't any different.
Now, we're gonna take it back here, and we're gonna be a little bit. We're gonna talk a little bit about consistency, which turns out you're one of the most consistent drivers here in this series, Nicholas. You haven't finished outside of the top 10 this entire season, and it's an interesting feat. And I just want you to run us through, what it takes to have that mindset, just come out here and just run the races like that.
Oh well, that is the mindset. Well, for me, it's like I just gotta. When I get in the car, I just gotta think to myself, yes, it would be awesome to win a race. I would really, and I mean really, would have liked to win today. I'm a racer, so of course that's the aim. And if there was an opportunity, I was gonna go for it. But on the other side, being consistent. It's not always worth diving it in and taking somebody out, and you just gotta just keep your cool at times and realize that you gotta pick your battles, and you can't win them all, but at some point you hopefully are gonna win some, and come the end of it, hopefully you'll be lying good in points, and if need be, well, you hopefully have what it takes to attack. But now I know I'm locked into the chase already, but I think I get a bonus point for leading, being in the lead of the championship when we go into the chase. And well, I could have gotten a bonus point today for winning, but I could also have not only lost that bonus point for winning a race, but if I wrecked, I could also have lost the bonus point for being in the lead of the championship, and that's something to take into considerations. So you just got to pick your battles.
Yeah, and speaking of picking your battles, next week is Southern National. Is that a track that you're looking forward to? Is that a track we can expect to see that 7-1 machine, run quick at?
Well, I would sure hope so. So I got my first win there last season, so it's kind of special to return to that place. It's a lot of fun there. Well, last year at least it had like a little bit the same characteristics that you really got to look after the tires, especially those rears, because last year we got loose there. So just keeping you cool in the car was quite a big deal here, like it was today. So I hope we can get up there, and hopefully we can get a win. That would be cool to kind of finish up the regular season by taking the win.
All right. Before we let you go here, Nicholas, you had any sponsors, shout outs, anything you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yes, most definitely. I want to give a huge shout out to Stephen Larkamp. He was my spotter today, and he's my teammate. We are running for the iRacing Road Pro Series in the F1 car together. He, after a bad race at the All-Star race, really got to talk to him, and that helped me a lot. So he's been there for me, and I want to thank him for everything he's doing, not only for me out here today, but also for the team in general, as we're pushing for the Road to Pro Series. Not going to get to Pro this year. We're definitely. I want to give a shout out to my teammate. He drove from 17th to 4th, showing that you can do a good race from the back of the pack, even here at Oxford. So that's very good for him. And gotta give a shout out to the team Gap SRT. That we're doing good here. That's good to see, and obviously to the sponsors of the league. Without them, there would be no Upstate Racing League here on LSRTV. So a huge thank you to you guys, and thanks to Al Smith Jr. for putting up with us drivers, and giving us the best league on the service to compete in. Always a lot of fun to be here, and thanks to the fans for watching, and thank you to you guys in the booth for giving us an awesome broadcast. I can't wait to watch this one back.
Well, there you have it, guys. That's your second place finisher, the 71 machine of Nicholas Rasmussen. Nicholas, we hope to be talking to you, real soon.
Yeah, thank you. So do I, to be honest. But we'll see. See you next week, hopefully.
All right, there you have it. I'm going to toss it over back to you, Cisco. You've walked down this very, very short pit lane a little bit and caught up with the 2 car. That's CJ Lever. What does he got to say?
I'm down here with CJ Lever, and CJ had a very interesting last lap as we look at the still here from the end of the race. CJ, I don't know if they just checked up in front of you or what happened, but either way, you just got the heck out of Dodge as soon as you saw the 71. Got to check up a little bit there. Talk us through towards the end of that race. How was it for you?
Just the last go for it and give her all we had, see if it'll stick. The outside line just wasn't coming in, and we tried to go up there a couple times there towards the end, and I knew if I did it, I could take a chance of losing the car, so I waited till the last corner and see if we could get anything out of it.
Well, either way, it was a great race you had here tonight. Started 4th, kind of fell back a little bit earlier, then kind of wound your way back up to 4th, and then you had a little bit of an incident in front of you, and then kind of just managed to hold on to 3rd, and you really caught those guys. You really showed a lot of tire wear, just saving it, doing a great job here. Was that hard for you here at Oxford, or just a different challenge?
This has to be my favorite track on the schedule. We're pretty good here. I didn't do what I needed in qualifying. You pretty much got to start in the front. There's no passing unless you use the bumper, and we got a good group of respectful drivers, and we don't use it too much. I got into a guy there a little bit when he got loose, but that's that. But you just don't. I could have probably got a little more out of it if I used the bumper, but it's just not worth it. 3rd's better than going to the back.
Well, you're 9th in points as we leave Oxford Plains right now. We're heading to Southern National, the last race of the regular season. What are your feelings here as we head towards the chase?
Just right now, get into it, and once we get into it, we just kind of got to go for it. Don't leave any cards on the table. And we're gonna take everything we can. There's a lot of competition out there, so I think you're gonna need to win right off.
All right. Well, CJ, you finished 3rd here tonight. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who gets it done for you in the 2 team?
I got to thank my teammate Stefan and Mach 1 Racing Graphics for the beautiful car. Tonight the Speed Force was with me, and we got into 3rd. I got to thank everybody over at Upstate, MP Roy, tonight's Hanson Starter Shop, Tents of Champlain, King Sport, all the sponsors over there, Brian Rogers Motorsports, Lions Club. I mean, I can go on and on. Everybody that helps us here. It's a great league, and come out and check us out every Thursday night. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Well, that's CJ Lever. Finished 3rd here tonight. CJ, we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks.
All right. Well, I'm going to step back up in the booth here with you, Chris, and let's just put this whole thing in perspective here tonight. Nicholas Rasmussen leads Oxford Plains 14 points ahead. He's locked in. He's got 2 wins. He doesn't have anything to worry about here pretty much, Chris. He's got a pretty big point, over 100 points on all the way back to 12. Nicholas Rasmussen's going to be in this chase here. He talked about consistency. The guy has been every race on the podium since October 20th. He's leaving here tonight with another 2nd place finish here. He's a guy to look out for. But then, of course, you have Justin Fuller, who's following right behind him. And this race really reflected Justin Fuller's season in a nutshell. He had an interesting start, did really well for a while, worked his way up front, then found himself in a wreck, and then fell all the way back. And just as we thought he might be able to do something, he fell back once again to 9th. Justin Fuller's had an up-and-down season. He had an up-and-down race here. What do you think is going to be the key here for Fuller to close that point gap and maybe just steal a win there, get an extra bonus points as we head toward the chase?
Well, the major factor here in this one tonight here, Cisco, was that he did not qualify. There was no qualifying time put down by that 51 machine of Justin Fuller. If he wants to close out this season on a high note and have any shot at this championship, he's going to have to get down, get serious, and start qualifying. It's the only way he's going to stay out of this backpack and stay out of this mess. It's really really that simple, but not at the same time. It's just something that us drivers know in our head that we just got to, flip that switch and go. But just doing that is going to be the deciding factor here with that 51 machine.
And Justin Fuller mentioned in the chat, Rasmussen, Fuller, Odo, Stenny, Hamill, Marinac, Rogers Jr., Smith, and Lavera are all locked in at this point. Your AJ Bunch, Justin McDuff, and John Ada, those are the three guys who are still on the bubble. They're still in at this point. And then Eric Hagg, JD Callahan, and Alex Orions are on the outside looking in. So they have to have a really good race at Southern National, which is where we're heading next week, Chris. Last season, I got to call an amazing finish there with Evan. I know you've driven there before. Southern National, how do you rank that track?
It's a really fun track, Cisco. It's really, really different, and I'm so excited to be actually up above and not down on it. It's not one of my favorite tracks, but it's exciting, and you should be looking for really exciting racing here to next week, and it's just going to be interesting. Maybe see Nicholas Rasmussen pull out another win, which he's been fighting for this entire time, but it's interesting. That's all I gotta say. The track's interesting. It's one of the newer tracks we have here, and it should be fun.
Absolutely, and make sure to tune in us same time, same channel, right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live for that event. That'll be the last race of the regular season. A lot of points, a lot of drama as we head towards that. But thank you tonight for tuning in here to the Upstate Racing Leagues presented by MP Roy Incorporated Lays Enterprise. And of course, we also want to thank our race sponsor tonight, Hanson Starter Shop, for helping get this race off the ground for these guys. If for an entire broadcast schedule, you can head to our website at livesimracing.com. You can also check us out on Facebook at LSRTV on Facebook, or at Twitter. You can check us out on there, LSRTV. And also, we want to remind you to tune in tomorrow night as the Super Speedway Cup Series is coming back to LSRTV. They got a brand new logo, bunch of brand new drivers, a lot of new paint schemes. Rod Flag and the guys getting super stoked, and we're happy to bring you not a brand new cast member, but a returning member to the LSRTV booth. Rachel Whiteford going to be joining us from Daytona International Speedway tomorrow night for the Super Speedway Cup Series. But thank you for tuning in here tonight. For Chris Murdoch, myself, Cisco Scaramuza, Evan Pisoko, and everyone here at LSRTV, just want to thank you for tuning in here tonight and watching the Upstate Racing League Upstate Racing League's Lay Enterprise Pro Late Model Series right here from Oxford Plains Speedway. Thank you for tuning in. We want to thank, of course, Hanson Starter Shop once again. We'll see you next week. Good night, guys.